So let's talk a little bit about children's book creators for conservation. You all sort of are the founders of that. Can you talk about where that came from and why it's important?
Well, it started after my first trip to South Africa with Wild Tomorrow. I actually discovered Wild Tomorrow while I was doing research for Hello, I'm a Pangolin, and they did this beautifully written write-up about pangolins and on their blog. And I was like, what is Wild Tomorrow? This seems, I just finished writing Wild Places, and it just seemed to fit a little too well with what the messaging
The
we were going
reason
with
we approach
Wild
these books
Places
and
and
also our
how
work
they
with
are
Wild
actively
Tomorrow, which
rewilding
is
and
actively
restoring wildlife
rewilding
and working with communities
space,
to
and
do
it's
just
it's
that
just
and also
such an important idea, and
expand the
hopefully
wild
that can
over in one
be
of the most
something that
biodiverse hotspots on
is a
Earth.
model
and
for
actually
how to
creating a
do it
corridor
in all
between two
places.
larger game reserves
Mhm.
where it was once all farmland. Um,
And a nature preserve, I think that's already,
yeah,
yeah. Um, but so I looked at their website and they had a volunteer experience, a volunteer trip, 2-week trip, and it was photography. And I'm also an amateur photographer, wildlife photographer. So I was like, this seems a little too good to be true. And and so I reached out, and this was right at the end of the pandemic when ports were starting to open up again. So they were going to actually be able to do this trip. I think that was what, 2022? Yeah.
2022.
And and John said, you gotta go. You gotta go. Let's make this happen. And so I went and I experienced all of the amazing things that they do there, including dehorning rhinos, and they actually got to introduce us to a pangolin that had been rescued from the wildlife trade. So I got to talk to the ecologists who were working with them, and I came back from that trip so inspired. It had changed my life. It actually changed my life, and I said to John, we have to bring back more children's book creators. There's so many stories here. It's also just it's just such an inspiring experience. Uh, we're kind of all about building community too, if we can within our children's book community, because we're also siloed. So we started Children's Book Creators for Conservation, and we started asking around and saying, hey, do you guys want to go on a volunteer trip? And so we started our first trip in 2023, and now we're going on a second one in the fall, September,
Yes.
together with
It,
you. Yay.
I'm still pinching myself that I get to join you all on this. It
Well,
feels
one
like
of
a dream
the
come true.
Oh, well, we're so thrilled to have you,
one
Hayley.
of the goals and the missions that we talked about when we created Children's Book Creators for Conservation is to kind of be the connective tissue between the readers and the conservationists in the field. You
Hmm.
know, um, what we know about conservation, we're learning as we go. But we're storytellers, and these conservationists have such incredible stories. But again, they're so busy with their heads to the ground, they don't have time to do PR about what it is they're doing. They're just doing
Right.
it, right?
Yeah.
So we thought, if we bring more storytellers, more artists to experience this conservation, then we can get those stories out into the world. And the second,
And expose the children to those
yeah,
stories.
and then the
Yeah.
second part of what we would love to do, and we are working with people on that right now, is to create actual programs that schools can use
Teacher's guides,
um,
really.
Absolutely.
for free, that kind of show them conservation, and this is the model.